All right. Hello and welcome to our live stream, our live coaching today. I'm really excited. We're starting to get these shows down. Of course, I forgot to turn on my lighting, my other piece of lighting here. So give me a second. It's been really fun. I'm really enjoying getting the opportunity. Oh, my light might have died. I'm really enjoying getting the opportunity to coach people live in a completely new environment. Normally, this coaching that I do with individuals on the internal guidance system is behind a paywall. So what happens is you purchase a program from me, you get your training, and then we were having these wonderful coaching calls that were going on behind the paywall in my members area. And the magic and the synchronicity and the transformation that was happening and these incredible stories that were going on um, behind there, I really just kind of felt like, I'm going to turn my phone off here. There we go. I really just felt like you guys, everybody in the public needed to know about it, because what happens when you use your internal guidance system and you've gone from years and years of challenges and suffering, things like not being able to make a decision, super painful, or doubting yourself. You want to get out there and there's something that you have an idea to do and you just can't get motivated to do it because you just feel like you're not able, right? You're not able to actually do the thing. You feel like you're not good enough, or you're not talented enough, or the years of people studying and taking class after class after class, hoping to get to that feeling where they don't feel like an imposter. And watching this go in these situations where, week after week, we would coach on the closing experience. I would have not feeling good enough, or not feeling like they have enough resources, or being afraid to take the leap to retire and do the thing they love, or all of these things, right? Not being able to make a decision, and then watching people be able to make a decision, get through the indecision that's so painful in their lives, get through the medical experiences that they were having, be able to stand up and assert themselves in their workplace, things of that nature, which has just been incredible to be able to. I'm just texting here somebody, hi. And be able to move them through that. And you're going to get to see that now. And we've even already started to see some of that experience in just the past 7 episodes that we've done. And so I'm excited that you guys are going to get the opportunity to witness this extraordinary experience that people are having. And hopefully you'll get to have your own ahas and your own moments of leaving behind years of fear patterns, years of suffering patterns, and habitual ways of thinking that are debilitating you, that are just keeping you down. And that's what gets cleared. And it's permanent, because every time you go from a closing to an opening, you start a new neural pathway. And that's the thing that's amazing about this work, is once you've cleared an issue, you've cleared an issue. Like you've gotten through it. Like, I used to be so worried if somebody didn't call me back or text me back. I immediately went to these dire outcomes of why they hadn't called me back or texted me back. And I don't have that anymore. I used to think that people were talking behind my back, and I don't have that anymore. And these are the things where you can get through these and just end this crap, the crud that is running around inside your head that has you not enjoy your life. You can actually get through it. So we're going to dive in here. We have a coaching person who's waiting to come on. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into coaching today. But I'm just so grateful that I'm here and that I'm getting to do this coaching live. So we're going to go ahead and bring on Fawn Joy. Love your name. Hold on, give me a second. It takes me a second to toggle. Hello, can you hear me? You might be muted, Fawn. I've got you on my side not muted. I can't hear you. All right, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and see if you can keep talking and see if you can. I'm listening. I'm trying to see if you can come on. Did you test your microphone? Usually that has you test your microphone before you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
There you are. Hi. Yes, I can.
You know what? Thank you for my compliment on my name. I was just going to actually observe. I just listen to you all the time, and I've gone through the program twice, the mini program, and so I don't really have anything to contribute. I was just going to observe and just be part of this essence in the morning and be part of it.
Well,
but there's nothing on my mind.
Okay, well, the place to do that would be on YouTube. This is like a live studio. And so I can, when you come and look on here, then you're like a part of my studio, and it's part of, like, in the email it says, if you do not want coaching, look on YouTube. So you go to Fear Free Human on
Oh,
YouTube. And when you
okay.
watch on Fear Free Human on the YouTube channel, Fear Free Human, you can comment. So
Oh,
that way, that's also kind of fun. So as I'm coaching people and working with people, you're able to comment. But do you mind if since I have you here, if I ask you a couple quick questions?
sure. I'm open and wise right
Awesome.
now.
Right now, you're open and wise. Good.
Yes.
What was your favorite part of the mini program, the Fear Free Mind experience?
um, I think just the stop and drop and just get into that place where God wants you, the guy,
Yeah.
to get connected to your IGS, and just to know that living in that space is where we should be. And every time I do that, I'm just the happiest. And it's usually living in the present moment, knowing everything's always going to work out, and stay away from the worrying and the dramas and what other people think, and their input on your life and stuff like that. So I just, sometimes it's, even though I've gone through it twice already with you, and I'm going to keep listening to your stuff.
Good,
Um,
good.
I think that just the constant reinforcement of hearing it over and over and over until it's just second nature, like getting up and brushing your teeth. Like
Yeah.
certain things are not phasing me anymore. Just
Like what? Can you give me some examples? I love to hear these because everybody's journey is so personal. We all have our own stuff, and that's so different than anybody else's,
Sure,
right?
sure. I'll give you one example that just popped in my head. So I'm what I would say is like I'm an analytic artist, and I am very creative, and I just I'm very blessed. My boss actually referred me to you, and he did the program too. I don't know if he did it as much
Awesome.
as I know as much as I did, like in depth, but we talk about it. When we do see each other, you get brought up all the time, and he really gets me. Like, he knows that being the artist I am, I thrive in solitude, and some people just don't understand that on the job because they want to be together. They're extroverts. They feed off each other's energy, and they just did it all day long, and they could be in meetings all day long, and just where I need that solitude, where I do need community, and I do love it when I go in there. Like today we have our holiday lunch. It's going to be really fun, but then I just can't. I just know that it'll be about 1:30, 2 o'clock, where I just need to get out and
Yeah.
go to my back to my home office. And it's not really fleeing, it's just being true to myself. And
Yeah.
then I get home and I get a cup of tea and I log back on, and I am so happy. And just being able to have the freedom and to know that it's okay to be this way, and it's okay that I'm not the 9 to 5er anymore. The pandemic in a way changed me. It forced me to be home for a pretty long time, but it actually um it like enriched me and made me more free, if that makes sense. But with your
Yes.
training, it solidified, like, this is okay, it's normal for you.
Right. Well, before that, you were probably kind of concerned that you weren't, not knowing how to share. I'm just guessing, so you correct me. But in a situation, not being able to share with people, I need my space. It's not you, it's me,
Mm-hmm.
or and
Right.
feeling bad, like I should be. I let the awful shoulds, have tos, and need tos. Right. I should be more social, or I should be able to do things that I don't feel like doing. That kind of stuff.
Right. And even when it comes to friends and gatherings and things like that, and my significant other, Kevin, he's the same way as I am. And so, we totally understand each other, where if we were more opposite, maybe we would like push each other a little bit, but we don't. But we do, I mean, it's not just work, it's my life. I guess I got to say it like that. But I do protect my time, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Whereas before I felt more obligated, now I'm like, let's do
Yep.
something that's good for all of us, that we're all going to enjoy. And so if it's
I
not
love
really
it.
a dinner out, let's go to the beach and have a nice cup of coffee and some breakfast. Or why don't you guys come over? I'm going to make something in the crock pot. It'll be an afternoon thing, like something different and creative, and not like all night long and stuff. It just just a good connection that, you're really important in my life. And now it's time for me to, go back to some solitude and enjoy my
Yeah,
life.
I love it. I really do. Um, Good. I thank you so much for being on today. Is there any other thing that you cleared out in your closings that you just can't, or you're amazed about? Because some of this stuff we carry around for years, and then when it's gone, it's like, wow, I don't have that feeling anymore, that tightness anymore.
Yeah, it's like, I think with you, I think it's like the past just doesn't matter. And I don't know. I mean, we all have our stories that we've gone through and stuff like that, but sometimes I'd let people make me think that, oh, people are a part of their past. You're a product of your past, blah, blah. And I just don't, I don't, no. I think we
Not
have the
anymore.
power to change and transform like a butterfly from the
Mhm.
cocoon. And that's what you really, unblocked that, opened me up to that. I really live in that space.
Good.
I don't
I'm
even
so
think
happy
about
for
anything in the
you.
past. What matters is now.
Did you used to think about stuff in the past a lot?
I didn't used to do it often. It's just that when I would hear something like, maybe I'm listening to Mel Robbins, for instance, and I love her, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's like it could be very scientific where, your brain is doing this, but it's like, all the scientific stuff. And okay, sure. Should I be thinking about the past more? Like I would like go there, like, is something wrong with me because
Yeah.
I'm just happy? And so now I'm just like, no, I'm just living. I'm in my IGS space where I need to be. And I'm
I
staying
love
here.
it.
I'm staying
Yay.
here.
I'm so glad. Thank you. I love the joy. I mean, I think that's the other thing is, man, how we have control over our own happiness and our own joy. Being able
Yes.
to pivot out of the experience of suffering or worry or anxiety and just be happy instantly, to realize that you have that power anytime you need it. It's
Yep.
amazing. It's
Yep.
amazing. Yeah.
Well, thank
It's
you.
good.
Thank you. I'm glad I shared after all. I didn't have anything, but see, it just came from my heart. So that's
I
good.
love it. No, that's perfect. I love it. And I'm so glad. And it's so lovely. I'm having so much fun with the coaching because like I haven't gotten to coach with you before and I didn't know you were out there. And I'm so glad you're a part of my world and my community. Thank you, Fawn. So
I
lovely to
will
meet you.
be forever, forever. Don't worry.
Oh,
I'm
good, good. I want you forever. So that's awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
okay. You bet.
All right. And that was perfect timing because now we have Sunny and then Lisa. So I'm so excited. And so we're bringing Sunny on. Hi, Sunny.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Hi.
Hi. So I just tried to get on and I had a few hiccups. I couldn't get on with Firefox, I couldn't get on with DuckDuck, and then finally with Safari, it would allow me.
Good. Well, yeah, I found that Chrome and Safari seem to work best. I'll put that in the email so that way it's thank you for that tip. What can I do for you today? Oh, it looks like I'm not hearing you. Might be your internet might not be stable enough. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you
Okay, good.
hear
Go
me?
ahead and start.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. How can I help you today? I can hear you. Go
okay,
ahead.
can you hear me now? We're in the
I
process
can. Go ahead, please.
building a house, and it's a little bit challenging with where we can build it, the directions, and I'm trying to incorporate some feng shui in it, and it's really tripping me up because almost each wall of the bedroom, is like, okay, don't put it there because the bathroom is there. Don't put it there because, you don't want the doors behind you. Don't put it there because the windows are above the bed. So what do you suggest in figuring out where to place the
Well,
bed?
I mean, if you're building, I mean, I don't know, you've got to use your own IGS on this because I don't know the building site. I don't know the floor plans and that kind of thing. Um, that's so funny that you say this because I'm in the middle of. I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you where I recommend putting the bed. But this is not IGS coaching necessarily, but you'll have to use your IGS to see if it's right for you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but um, how do I explain it? I'm in the process of building a house, and what I have found is the way that most people, they just put a room with 4 walls, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
maybe you'll have the doorway into a bathroom if it's a master suite or that kind of thing. And I like to wake up looking out the windows,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And so what I found is that if you make your room big enough, this is so funny, I can't believe I'm telling you this about our own bedroom, but you make your room big enough, you can put a half wall, and then put your bed in front of the half wall facing the windows. And then both people can go into the back and have the closet in the back, and there's like a little hallway area behind. And the half wall can be, 8 feet. So you have like a beautiful piece of art. And then on the other side, you can either put a closet or another piece of art with like a bench. And then you've got your closet and your bathroom on the other side. So the things that I like about this is, one, I like to face the window. Two, I have the door in a space that's feng shui because I like feng shui too. There's a wall between me and the bathroom. So if my significant other, my husband, gets up and goes to the bathroom in the middle of the night, or has to turn on the light and get in and get up in the morning earlier than me, or vice versa, there's no light pollution in the room. And especially if you have that black wall be an extra closet, you've also got this huge muffled space. So I'm designing the room to where you walk in and it's more like a hallway, and you can go into the bed area from either side and then have all of the functionality of the bathroom on the right. I don't know if that helps you or not. You have to use your IGS. And one of the things that I recommend is, when you're using your internal guidance system, this is for like just designing a house, picture walking through the house. Your IGS works best if you're on the move. It does not work well, and you probably know this from having studied it before. It does not work well just sitting there and trying to like ask questions, because your mind doesn't, it's not meant to work with your mind in a static state of trying to ask questions. It's a situation where you're moving forward. So imagine yourself moving through the house and actually living in it. That's what I do. And what it's going to be like to walk through the door of the bedroom, and you're going to see the bed there. You're going to walk over. Where are you going to take your shoes off? Where are you going to throw your clothes? We all get undressed in our bedrooms and don't always put our clothes in the hamper. We're not ready. We're going to wear them again tomorrow. Whatever it is, where are you going to put those clothes? Walk through the house and check your IGS, because as you're imagining it, your IGS will close if you have an idea about something that's not going to work.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I think I just get tripped up about the whole feng shui thing.
Well, I mean, I don't feel like, I don't dive deep into the feng shui. I like the idea of it. I like to design spaces. So when I was reading feng shui books, it was fun to have a new way of looking at it. For me, it's about flow. Always. Everything I teach is about flow. And so several times, the last house that I purchased, as I was in the house, I went in it like 3 times before we put an offer in, because I wanted to feel what it was like to make breakfast for the kids, and where are they going to put their stuff, and just when somebody's sick in the middle of the night, is it easy for me to get to them? And I pictured living and having it be ease of use more than just walking into a house and being like, oh yeah, this will work. It's got 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. I kind of like the design. I actually was like, where am I going to put my extra pantry stuff? Where's the laundry? Like, I like the laundry upstairs where all the laundry is, where all the bedding and the clothes and stuff is, that kind of thing. So if you have a 2-story house, but we're centrally located, so I'm not lugging laundry up and downstairs. All of that stuff, feng shui is really about flow of energy. And so I wouldn't get so hung up on, I mean, yeah, you don't want to put your toilet on your wealth corner, if you're really following feng shui. But if you're building your own house, you can have choice over that.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes
as well
all
as
sense.
north, south, east, and west, and how is the sun going to function, right? So you don't want to put your bedrooms on a west-facing wall in a hot area, because that means that the sun's going to be beating on your bedroom in the middle of the night. You're going to be hot in the middle of the night if you don't, it's those kinds of things. You want to pay attention to the
Mhm.
design and this where the various, or maybe you do want this westward sun if you're in an area like I'm up in northern Idaho, and most of the year it's cool here. So having that last bit of sun on the master bedroom and the bedroom walls is great because it helps keep the house warm.
Mhm.
It's like, how do you figure things out?
Right.
South
Right.
facing, east
Mhm.
facing kitchen so you can see the sunrise in the morning, those kinds of things.
Right. Right.
But
Do
it's
you
flow. So
follow the directions regarding, they say don't put your head in the bed on the northern side. Like, do you follow things like?
no, I usually don't.
Mhm.
I haven't found that to be, for me, an issue. In fact, as I'm thinking about it, no, I have not had the last 4 bedrooms I've been in. I haven't had. I'm just picturing myself. I've been on my east and west facing direction
Mhm.
because the
Mhm.
front of my house is south facing. I,
Okay.
I like
Mhm.
south facing homes way over
Right.
the house,
Right.
and it's just the way the design was. No, um, so there is, when you put stuff into your subconscious mind, it can actually affect the way that your life is. So the more restrictions you put in and have to's about things, the more your
Mhm.
subconscious mind is going to manifest those.
Mm.
So it's a
Okay.
fun thing to play with, right?
Mhm.
Right? You see what I'm saying? So it's a fun thing to
Mhm.
play with for fun, but I wouldn't get hooked into it has to be this way or I'm not going to sleep well, because then what's going to happen with your subconscious mind? You're going
Right.
to find yourself struggling to sleep
Mhm. Mhm.
because there's
Yeah.
something in there that says I can't sleep well this way. You know, like I said, I go with more where the house is, and how the flow of the energy is for the family, so that it's easy for us. My husband likes to stay up late and later than the rest of the family. So there's a room. Where's his room going to be where he stays up late and watches TV, plays video games, talks to his friends, does his thing, where we can't all hear him and he doesn't have to be encumbered with being quieter than he should have to be. Where are the
Mhm.
kids going to play? Where am I going to be able to do our things? And really, that's what I would be focused on more is how is it going to be to where we don't have anything that's icky, uncomfortable, clunky. And
Right.
I check my IGS.
Mhm.
Truly, like when I was walking through houses, we went and saw a lot of houses
Mhm.
when we bought our house, and I could tell. My husband would be like, "What's wrong with this one?" I'm like, "I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. This is why." And I'd explain it to him, and he's like, "It's so weird that you walk through the house in your mind of how we're going to live here." And I'm like, "Why wouldn't I? We're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on something. Why wouldn't I walk through and be
Right.
like, is this actually going to be functional? How am I going to
Mhm.
do this?" Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that too, and then I just, because I'm incorporating the feng shui, it just kind of like, yeah. I think I'm
Well, does
gonna
it
let go a little bit more of the feng shui and just be in it with my own flow. Um, what I was gonna ask you is, you mentioned something about don't put the bathroom in your wealth corner. Where is the wealth corner?
You have to look at, I don't know. I was kind of joking.
Oh,
Jest,
okay.
if you, so from what I remember from feng shui, I'm not a master at all. I would go with Marie Diamond. She's a friend of mine. Marie's got great stuff.
Mhm.
But her book is really good. There's a bagua, and you line it up north, south, east, and west, and there's all the different quadrants in there. And then there's also fixes. So that's the other thing. So in Japan, they would, if there's a particular way that it's facing, they'll put a water feature in front of the
Mhm.
building, or there's stuff that they have for that. I literally just did it because it was a fun, creative kind of thing, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Lisa is asking, when you walk through a house, what kinds of questions do you ask your IGS? I don't ask questions of my IGS very often. It's the worst way to use your internal guidance system. It's really about being in the flow, okay? Meaning in action. So as I'm walking, let's say I'm touring a house, a piece of real estate. Um, I picture like because your IGS is giving you a response to everything that you're thinking. Okay, everything. That's why you don't sit down and be like, "Oh, should I buy this house?" No, it's everything. There's too much going on. So like the last house that we purchased, we came in through the garage all the time because we parked in the garage. So it, the front door didn't really matter, and there was some steep steps up the front to the front door, which I would normally, if I wasn't doing it the way I do it, would be like, "Ooh, I don't want to walk up and down those stairs." But the inside stairs were really easy to get into the first floor, and so I went in through the garage, right? And so I pictured the family going in through the garage, and where were we going to dump our stuff? Because everybody, when you get home, you throw your backpacks and your coats and your boots, and I like a shoe off house. And so where am I going to sit to take my shoes off? Put my shoes on. You don't ask questions. And as you're thinking through moving through the house and how it's going to work, if there's something that's not going to work, you're thinking it is, it'll close you. You're like, oh, that's not going to work. I'm closed. Okay, so that's not where I could do that. Where else could I do it? And so I would literally plan the house really, really in detail. And then I could tell whether I wanted to be a part of something or not, whether I wanted to do it or not. So it's really not sitting there going, is this laundry room going to work? Open, closed, or neutral? Is this kitchen? No. Yeah, that's what and it's like in one, those old 70s, Sunny, those old 70s, where you have the island and then they had the little desk that nobody ever uses with the cupboard above the desk in the kitchen, like it's facing a wall. Like in one of the houses, I didn't have enough room for my dishes. I've got a lot of dishes. And when I thought about ripping that out and putting a china cabinet there, I opened. It's that kind of thing. It's like, oh, I'll just rip those cupboards out and throw my china cabinet there. Then I'll have all my dishes on display. That'll work perfect. And I opened. So in the planning, in the strategizing and the solutions you're coming up with, and that's where you're looking for the opening, in flow of planning versus sitting going, is this going to work for my china or not? Like, that's not what happened. I was like, well, there's space right there. I can rip that out and put in my china. I took out the center console, the island that was ugly, and I put in a beautiful high dining room table that was long and with stools. It was, that kind of thing. And I was like, and everything opened to me.
Okay.
Got
I
it?
will do that. Yes, I got it.
Don't get too hung into belief systems like that. Play with it, but don't lock into any have tos. And then also check. Here's what I would do. Does it open you to use feng shui in designing your house? Does it even open you? Because that may not be the system that is right for you. Because a lot of times now you're fear. You see, we want to stay away from fear, right? So if you start putting all these rules in, and now you went from, I can have anything in my house I want, how is this going to work for me and be amazing, to the house has to have this stuff, or we're going to not have money, we're not going to be happy, our family's not going to be well, I'm not going to sleep good. Right now you're putting it in fear. And now you're bringing in all this complexity, and you just shook yourself into a box. Blow the box up. Check and see if you should even be using feng shui, and if it closes you, don't. Design your big, beautiful house. And if you want to play and dabble in it a little bit, fine, but I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't put in false rules that if you don't keep them are going to make you unhappy subconsciously. So,
Yeah.
But it does sound like you. It does sound like something you would do. So I love you. All right. Are you done? Are you there? Did I lose you? All right. I think I lost her. We're going to go to Lisa and then Michelle. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. I
Okay.
can.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to have to just make this short because I have to go to work, but I didn't want to miss you today. Do you do private sessions?
I do. I do private sessions.
Okay.
So you can go to, I sent out an email. I'll send an email out. Or you're on my list, obviously. So I'll send an email out with the links to book a session. Okay.
Okay. That sounds good.
Great.
Just real quick. I'm still trying to figure out how this is going to work with the modality I use, and maybe it won't, but because it's all about asking questions. So yes and no's mostly, but you're saying not to do it that way. So
so it's about, strategizing, okay, of the possibilities and noticing whether you get an open, closed, or neutral. So how would I explain it? Let's say you're talking about somebody who's got a health condition. So if I'm working with somebody and I have a client right now who has sleep issues. And so as I'm sitting there and we're talking about, I'm going through and we're using her IGS to find out what the sleep issues are about. We'll be like, okay, is this, I'm thinking, is it a deficiency in minerals, closed? Is it, and I'm not asking, it's not like I'm sitting there going yes or no. I'm going, is it along the lines of, is it the environment she's in? I'm getting a closing, and I ask questions about, okay, what's your partner's sleep style like? Is that keeping you awake, the snoring, or and I get an opening, like there's something there. So it's like, then I will ask the question, is there something going on with snoring? How are you two sleeping together? But you have to be really careful. You don't just drop in. You cannot quiet your mind long enough to only have one thought. The second you have a thought, your mind comes in with another thought and then another thought, and your IGS is giving you information on all of your thinking.
Well, I'm using an app, so it does narrow it down for me.
So then you could just, as the app's bringing up stuff, check your IGS.
Okay.
That's perfect. That's perfect because your mind, because it's the mind that's the problem.
I know. And what I did this morning was I doused on some things that I was asking about, and then I checked with the IGS to see if the dousing was correct, and it matched perfectly. And I got a stronger feeling for when I was closed.
Good. Well, let's report back. I haven't used that system in that way. Look, I'm one mind, and we've got so many billions of minds to work with, right? In fact, I'm looking to franchise this work out to people in different countries. Like maybe there's somebody who's got an EFT business and teaching coaches, so I can train them to train their coaches to work with the Japanese mind, to work with the German mind, to work with the Mexican mind, because culturally, the stresses and the fears and the anxieties and the limitations, I don't know. So, and also like, this has been used, for instance, there's an example. I had a cardiologist who studied this work years ago, and she was leaving the hospital and had given a protocol to one of the patients there. And as she was leaving and thinking about the protocol, she was closed. And she stopped and was like, wait a minute, I'm closed. That means what I'm thinking is not true, not going to happen. She turned around. She was in the parking lot already. She said, I turned around, went back in, and she looked at the chart, and there was a medication she missed.
Right.
And if she had given that medication with the protocol she had, it would have been really dire consequences. Ooh. So she just changed the protocol and literally called me in the parking lot and said, we've got to get this into medical schools, because I would have I would have thought I was just tired or stressed out. I wouldn't have even realized that the closing I was feeling, the anxiety I was feeling, was actually related to the patient and what I had just. So when I don't have all the answers, so I would love to hear how it's working for you in the modality you're using and what you're discovering, because I'm open for all of this, I want to hear from everybody. How are you using it? What's going on? It's part of the reason we're getting this coaching out here. What's working for you, so that we can expand the possibility of how to use this, all of that. So I'd love that, Lisa.
Okay, great.
Tell me how it goes.
All right, I definitely will. Because I think that you could really add a piece of the puzzle for me with my intuition. I think it would really help.
Great. Let's do it. I'm excited.
Great. Thanks. Okay, I got to run.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, go. Have a good day. All righty. And then we have Michelle.
Hey there, girl. How are you? Can you hear me?
I am. I can. Hi.
Hi. It's been a minute.
It has. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah. I love what you're doing, so I'm curious and moving through a lot of stuff right now, filled with a lot of fear.
All right, let's work with it.
Yeah. I have cancer.
Okay.
And a multitude of other things hitting simultaneously.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry.
It's okay. A lot of good days, a lot of amazing things are coming out of this. It's just accepting.
Yeah.
moving through it. See, every time I bring it up, I get emotional, but I've been
That's
really
okay.
good.
We've
I've
been really
been
good
really,
not to be emotional. It's okay to be emotional.
yeah,
It's okay. This is a big thing. This is a big deal. This is a life moment.
yeah. It's a big life, been a big life moment. It's been going on for about a year and a half now.
Okay.
Moved through lots and lots of different phases, but I think it's the acceptance that this is how life is. I don't get that life that I
Does
thought I
it
was going
open
to
you?
have.
Does it open you that this is how life is?
Sometimes. Sometimes I don't know how much of it's in my mind and how much of it's connected to my heart. But everyone that is watching me is just stunned and amazed at how I'm moving through this and how strong I am. They see me a lot differently than I see myself.
Right.
And I am committed to saying yes to, I mean, I'm moving through. It's changed my connections with people and made me realize that's what really matters. But in the middle of all this, I'm also in the middle of a bankruptcy and still struggling with work. And it just feels like all those foundational pillars are blocked right now.
Okay. So
So let's just maybe take one.
yeah, well, and like I said, I'm coaching through this whole month, I'll be continuing. So everybody will get an offer. I'm doing a monthly coaching membership. It's very affordable, like $27 a month. So pick one fear, pick one situation that's been causing the one that's probably the most up. Let's deal with that one today.
Probably the cancer, because I'm in the middle of it right now with some big stuff happening and some big decisions to make. My platelets have completely tanked.
Okay.
Going for labs after I talked to you, they're down really, really low, like to 20,000. And need to schedule a procedure. The
Well, let's deal with the
cancer.
thoughts. So the biggest thing to deal with, because we don't do questions, right? What are the
Okay.
actual thoughts that are? What is? Give me the fearful thoughts.
Well, the first thought is I'm going to die.
Okay, does that close you? That's fear, right? Fear is always closing.
Mm-hmm.
It would, if you were going to die, it would open you, and it's a completely different experience because you're open, and instead of it being gripped with fear about it, okay, you're open and you feel at peace with it. I've had many people that I've worked with who opened at dying, and they're like, "Wow, I'm gonna die."
Well, that's where
Okay,
I want to get, and it's not
not
immediate,
if,
but it's,
but
yeah,
you're not gonna die because you're in fear.
right.
That means you're closed. That means what you're thinking about your demise is not true. If it were true, you would be open. And then it's like, okay, how am I going to last? How am I going to live the last of my days? It's a completely different experience. People, so you're not going to die. So if you want to be at peace, we got to flip the script on that one. So hold the thought, I'm not dying of this. And do you feel a sense of ease? Does it ease up? I am not dying of this.
Yes.
Then you're okay. So you're now open. You're not going to die. You got an opening. You're not dying. So put that aside. Get rid of it. It's a useless thought. It's not true. It will take you, and you don't need it. You don't need to even think about it anymore. Go back to thinking you're going to die. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Do you close?
Yeah.
Go back to thinking you're going to live. This is not about positive and negative thinking. I'm telling you. Go back to I'm going to live. You open. So that is what's true for you.
That makes me feel hopeful.
Good. So what's the next fearful thought? Now, here's the key. Your mind's going to still be like, oh no, I'm going to die. And then you go, no, that closes me. I'm not doing that with you, mind. We're not doing that. We're open that we're living. So we're going to stay on the trajectory of our living, and we got a plan for living. We got a bankruptcy to do. We got to figure out how to reconfigure our work life. We got shit to do. I'm going to live. You see what I'm saying? Right?
Right.
And then we'll start working on, okay, God, we got all this other stuff to do. I'm going to live. So now we got to figure out how to make my life clean and healthy and strong, and right. And we can do that.
Right.
So what's the next cancer thought? So let's talk about what's your thought about the surgery or the treatment?
Well, I've been presented two options, and so the fear is of choosing the wrong one or not being able to get to my own discernment level with it, and just having way too much knowledge around everything and find it confusing now.
Okay, so let's
Although
start with,
I am leaning one direction, but I haven't done this process.
well, let's deal with the fear first. So we want to deal fear by
With
fear,
the
right?
fear
And so
so fear is
I'm choosing the wrong
choosing
one.
the right.
So so hold the thought, I'm going to choose the wrong one. And
Okay.
are you open, closed, or neutral?
Kind of neutral.
Okay. So hold the thought. Neither is right for me. Now try not to have your mind freak out about that, because it's, of course, everybody's like, these are your choices. Trust me, I know, I went through cancer, and they always say these are your choices,
I know
but
you
just
did.
hold the
That's
thought.
why I just want to tell you I appreciate that. And I know it allowed me to feel vulnerable with you, plus having been through HCL with you, just watching you and admiring you. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not something everybody gets to go through. Just some of us
That's
do,
right. That's right. That's right. And so hold the thought. Okay.
So the thought is
Neither of them, just hold the thought. Neither of them are right. Open, closed, or neutral. Do you feel tight and fear, or do you feel nothing, or do you feel a sense of ease?
I feel okay. I feel I do feel that there is a right option for me.
Okay. Well, but we have to use your IGS. So go ahead and hold the thought. There is one of the, I know there is a right option, but is it one of these? So say one of these, either of these is, one of these is right for me to do. Notice if you feel a little bit more of a lift.
I do.
Okay, so good. Now at least we know that we're working with two options that are actually right for you, because they just present you with, you have this or this, and that may not be true. And so now we know it's one or the other. And what's the one, talk to me, tell me about the one that you're leaning towards.
It's called an embolization, and it's a liver-directed therapy. The other one is more.
No, keep talking about the embolism, because
Okay.
we're going to check and see if you,
embolization.
I want to see if you close down as you're talking about it.
Okay, so the embolization is a liver-directed therapy, and they go in directly into the liver. They block off the arteries, and the cancer, there's two larger spots, and the cancer dies because it's not getting its fuel source.
Okay, now do you feel any tension or tightness as you're talking about that?
Not about that part. The second part of this is what causes me to shut down into fear.
Okay, but you're thinking about it. So tell me about the second part.
The actual procedure, I'm completely in agreement
Open.
with.
Okay, then talk about the second part where you get shut down, closed.
There's a potential side effect for a liver abscess, and I had one of those a year and a half ago, and about took me out because I got sepsis and I was hospitalized, and so it's bringing up old fears, even though they said they'll give me antibiotics.
Fear is closing. So fear is closing, which means what you're thinking is not true or not going to happen.
Okay.
So as you're thinking about it, I want you to hold, we're going to go back. I want you to feel it. You have to feel the closing, because that's what actually creates the neural pathway connection. And then we're going to shift it into an opening.
Yeah.
And that's
so
what it's really important. It is a closing. And so go ahead and talk about it again. The fear is, I'm going to get
the side effect of getting a liver abscess.
Okay. And do you close down? You get tight?
Not as much.
Okay. But you do get tight. Any tightness counts.
A little bit tight still, yeah.
Okay. And then I want you to hold the thought of actually getting that.
Of actually getting the abscess?
Mm-hmm. Getting the abscess, that you're going to get the abscess after this. And what immediately happens in the body? You get tight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not true. It's not going to happen. So hold the thought. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to have that happen to me again.
Okay.
And notice if that tension releases.
Yes.
Then that's not going to happen. You're not going to have to worry about that.
So the other probably bigger fear around this, and I'm just learning with you how to ask the questions, is around the chemotherapy. I've been on chemo, and they recommended this procedure because I would continue on chemo after, for I still have other spots in my liver and pancreas. And so, but I've tanked on the chemo the last couple days, and they've completely taken off of it because of my platelets. So now
Mhm.
the fear that's coming up is, now what? Okay, they'll take care of these two big bad boys that are misbehaving, but I've got these other spots, and now how are we going to treat those? Because
Okay.
I'm not performing well on the chemo like I was when we had this
So,
original conversation.
okay. So hold this thought for a minute. Okay. So this, I'm gonna just talk, and I want you to follow your IGS as you're thinking about what I'm saying. Now,
Oh,
this is
okay.
important. This is important for you to realize. Okay. You are not, your IGS will never respond to what I'm saying.
Oh,
Your
okay.
IGS responds to what you're thinking about what I'm saying. And that's what's important. So as I'm talking, okay, if there's any thought that is different than what I'm saying and it closes you, we want to be, that's the thoughts we're looking for. Okay. So just kind of
Okay,
be
so
paying attention,
I'll write those down as you're
or
talking.
just tell them
Okay.
to me. You can just be like, hold on, that makes me, my
Okay.
mind, this is how you do it, is my mind immediately goes, here's Zen, da 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 da. And we'll see if that opens, closes, or or gives you neutral. If what I'm saying just is as opening, and as you're thinking, as you're just processing what I'm saying, and you just stay open, you don't have to stop me and tell me what you're thinking,
Okay.
because we're opening begets opening, we're in alignment. But if a closing happens, we want to see what thought closed you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the coaching moment. All right.
Okay.
So from what all the people that I've known that have gone through the cancer journey, platelets is a big deal. Okay. And I get that. And there's, the doctors give us all these, oh no, the platelets are going down. But the platelets will go up and down as your body is processing the healing. And so just because you got cancer and got chemo and your platelets have gone down, our body's constantly rebuilding platelets. And that doesn't mean that, because of our body being in a chemical state where we're completely always changing, especially when you're adding in like chemo or radiation or a drug or medication, our body is always working towards equilibrium. And it has processes that it does to get to that equilibrium. And so your platelets have gone down, but your body is already working to get your platelets back up. And in this moment, you don't know what the chemistry is happening inside of your body, and you don't know all the things that are interactions that are happening. That's why cancer is so complex. So just because in this moment at where your body is in its equilibrium is not handling chemo has nothing to do with how your body will handle chemo in the future or how it will handle it after the procedure. Okay. Or none of that, you don't know. And so you said the fear is, which means what the thoughts you're having about the other spots and the chemo not being something that you can do because of how you're handling it now. That fear of not being able to handle the other spots because of chemo is closing you. It's a fear, which is closing, which means it's not true and not going to happen. And so I want you to hold the thought that just because I'm having a platelet issue right now doesn't mean that after the procedure, as I'm back on chemo, I'm going to have any issues. And see if you get a neutral or an open, a sense of ease about that.
Trying to get out of my mind.
It's hard. I understand. It takes practice. That's why
Yes.
we have
Yes.
trainings. That's why
Yes.
the trainings are important.
Yes. And I've had platelets drop before. I've had this happen twice now. This is my third time. So yes, they have rebounded.
So hold the thought if you can, because it's like our mind is meant to get us love and protect us. And in this moment, it's trying to protect you from, any desire, any dire thing that it can conceive of that's going to happen. Right. And the key is that it has no idea what's going to happen. Its fears are so random. And a lot of them are from an old history of the way other people around us responded and things like that. So if you can hold the pure thought that I am going to do fine on the chemo. I'm feeling fear that it's not going to work and I'm not going to be able to deal with the other spots, which means I'm going to be able to deal with the other spots, and the chemo or something else is going to work to take care of those spots.
Yeah, I do believe that. I do believe that.
But I know you believe it, but does it open you? There's a big difference. We've got to stay with what the actual IGS is telling you, because it is connected to something that has wisdom and a connection to your trajectory of your life that I can't even explain. It's part of the work that I can't explain. How does it know? How does it know, the stories that I have are like, how did it know when I touched this thing how did it know it was cancer? How did it know I wasn't going to have to do chemo? How did it know I wasn't going to have to do radiation? How did it know that double mastectomy was the best choice for me? Like all of that, right? So
Right.
even though I don't want what your mind believes, I want what your IGS is telling you. So when you hold the thought, when you think about that you're going to be able to take care of those other spots, and there's either the chemo or something else will take care of them, do you feel a sense of ease and a slight relief opening?
Yes.
Okay, good. We want to double check that, because here's the deal. When you go back to being fearful again, because your mind's going to say, oh no, but we're not handling chemo. You're going to get your labs today. The labs may come back. We don't know how they're going to come back. Your mind,
Right.
depending on how they come back, your mind's going to flip out again.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back to, no, I got an opening that we are going to be able to take care of these spots. I got an opening about doing the procedure. I got a closing. I'm not going to have an abscess mind. So stop with the abscess stuff. You see what I'm saying? Not going
Right.
there. And this is how you get yourself over and over and over again back to peace. You just, you're like, and because you are not your mind. Your mind is a software program that is running its own thing. And you are right there, and you can feel your IGS, and you can work with your mind with the opening and closing to stop it from running your life.
Yes. And I believe the IGS is my higher self, right? I believe that I'm tapping into an intuition that
Yeah,
is outside of the mind, right?
exactly.
That,
You are. Well, for me,
right.
it's the Holy Spirit. So yeah, exactly.
Right. And that as well, too. I'm that as well. All of that. My
All of that. Yeah.
relationship with God has grown, oh my God, exponentially
Yeah.
at a fast rate and at a deeper level for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and so it doesn't
And
matter to me.
the mind forgets to trust God for sure.
Exactly. In fact, it's
Mhm.
deeply not trusting of it,
No,
I would say, a lot of the time.
doesn't trust God. Right, that's right.
That's right. So this is what you do. So this is the coaching. And listen to this again. This will be on YouTube, so listen to it again. Super important. Because
So
you
one
want to
more time,
reinforce.
because my mind wants to go back to my old way. So how do I ask? I stop and I ask the question.
Don't ask questions. Okay.
Okay.
So do not ask.
Question.
Don't ask questions. Your mind doesn't have questions. And here's the thing. Have you ever used a magic 8-ball?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So you ask a question and you shake the magic 8-ball and it gives you an answer you don't want. What do?
Shake it again.
You shake it again.
Come on,
So
baby. You can do this. Come on,
you just
baby.
keep shaking it. Yeah, I know. It's like, give me the one. I want the positive answer.
I want that guy. Damn it.
Exactly. I want that guy. I want that house. I want whatever it is. Exactly. And so the thing is that's what your mind is going to do. We don't ask questions, and it doesn't help because this is what it looks like if you try to do the question thing. You are in fear. You are in anxiety, worry, stress, overwhelm, whatever the particular moment of closing is. You're already getting guidance that what you're thinking isn't true. But what the mind wants to do, the mind wants to feel better. So it will sit there and try to find a question that will open you. The thing that's going to open you is to be with the fact that the thoughts you're having are not true or not going to happen. That is the only thing that's going to open you in that moment. You've already gotten guidance. And so as soon as you get certain, like, oh, I am not going to die. Because every single time I think about dying, I close. And every time I think about living, I open. And if I want to feel better, I need to stay with the opening thought that I'm going to live. I'm going to make it through this. I don't have the trajectory yet, but I do know what the next step is. And the next step that you open to is the one to take. And then the next step you open to is the next one to take. And you keep doing that. And when you get a closing, you look at your thoughts, because you want to be working with the thoughts you're having in the moment, not trying to come up with some arbitrary question to make yourself feel better. You want to look at, oh, I'm closed at having this surgery on that date. I'm going to book the surgery, the procedure, and I'm closed. Okay. You don't have to know why. You can sit there for 25 years and go, is it because of this I'm not supposed to have the seizure? Maybe the doctor's going to be sick. Am I going to be sick? Are my platelets not going to be good? Am I going to get a cold? No, that doesn't help. Like, why am I getting, no. Like, okay, so that's not the date. You just go right to the next thing of looking for the opening. Like, you know, what's the next date you have available, nurse, for this procedure? That one's not.
Shoot.
Oh, no, you're here. I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Oh,
So I'm going to finish.
I
So
had a call come in and it broke our connection. Can you hear me?
yeah. So let's say you're sitting there on the phone making, I can hear
I
you.
can't hear you.
Hold on. Let me go to private chat.
Wait a minute. Let me
Okay.
see here.
I can hear you.
What
Okay.
do?
So
If I turn
gonna-
my headphones off, that causes an echo.
yes, it does.
Yeah. I don't know what to do. Let's see. They're still on.
So
Turn them off and back on to repair.
okay, I'm going to give you the answer and you can listen later.
Still can't hear you.
Okay. And so here's the deal. So if you're sitting there, I'm going to mute you. Here, 1 second. Down a little bit. So if you're sitting there and you're on the phone and you're about to make, like,
No,
for
I got
instance,
you.
you're
I got
going
you.
to, you got me? Okay. So
Oh,
if
no,
you're
I
sitting
don't.
there, let's
Shoot.
say,
I don't understand
okay.
what's happening.
Michelle, I am going to keep going. So, so I'm telling her
Can
she
you
can
hear me
figure it
now?
out. I can hear you the whole time.
Can't hear you.
Okay. So 1 second, everybody. Sorry about this. Okay. I don't think she can see the text messages. Private messaging her. All right. So here's the deal.
Oh, I got you.
Okay. I'm going to keep
Got
going,
it.
Michelle, just for the sake of the recording. Okay. So, and if you lose me again, don't worry about it. I'm just going to finish the coaching up here and then you can listen to it on YouTube.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let's say you're in the middle of making an appointment to do the procedure. Okay. And you close as you're sitting there looking at they give you it and you're closing about the thing. Then what you do is you say, what's the next date you have? And you let the person who's scheduling the procedure give you the next couple dates and you'll hit the one that opens you and you just pick that one. You just go to the next one. You don't sit there and be like, oh no, I'm going to die because I can't get in at that time or why can't it work that time? Or trust me. I just had a situation with one of our students where she was closed. She was teaching college. She got asked to teach a college class these 2 different weeks and she was closed, but she was worried about if I don't take it, they may never ask again and all of that.
Right.
And so she decided to take it anyways. Well, the first week that she had scheduled, she got COVID, she had to cancel. And then the second week, which is coming up in a couple months, she got invited to do to study with a premier tango teacher down in Argentina, where he invited only 8 people in the world to come and study with him. And yeah. And so she's like, oh, so she had to cancel because she called me up. She's like, what am I going to do? I'm like, cancel the college course. You're a dancer. Your priority is dancing. And you got a closing in the beginning of taking the course anyways. You should have, teaching it. We don't know why. She didn't know she was going to get COVID back then. And she didn't know this tango thing was going to happen, but our internal guidance system knows. So you can't ask a question like that. How she could spend her whole life wondering why she got a closing about teaching the course. And there's no way her mind could have come up with the question of, am I going to get asked to dance with a premier teacher?
Phenomenal experience.
Exactly. Like you can't. That's why you can't sit there and ask questions of your mind because your mind doesn't know. So what happens is the more you study this and the more that you drop in and you realize that you're following flow, because that's what this will eventually lead to, where you're only living from the opening and the mind is just a part of what your experience is. It's not the whole experience anymore. And you'll go from moment to moment. And then all of a sudden your mind will do something and you'll get closed. And you're like, what was that? It took me out of flow. You deal with it and you go back into flow, and your life becomes just this ongoing, synchronistic, miraculous perfection. And when it gets clunky, you stop and you're like, what is going on with that head of mine? You deal with it because you're trained to deal with it, and you drop back into flow. You don't have to question. You don't have to wonder. Your mind is the thing that wants to know everything. You do not need to know everything. You are always safe, and you just got to keep your mind out of the way. That divine source that you are tapping into, the Holy Spirit, your higher self, that is in charge. And the mind is a tool that creates your life. Your mind is a tool for imagination. That's what Einstein said. Your mind is a tool to create, to think of things that you've never thought of that are beautiful and creative and amazing. It is not the leader. It is not your leader. God is your leader. Your divine presence and a source of life is your leader.
So without asking a question, this is how my monkey mind is still struggling. So I call and they give me a date. So how do I say, what would I say to myself?
That you just say that, oh, I'm close. That date's not going to work. What's another
So
date you have?
I look and see if I feel fear or if I feel open. That's all it is.
That's all it is. And
Do I feel fear around this date, or ask the question, what other dates, and then see how that feels?
Yep. And I would say
Open or
closing,
closed?
eventually we're going to get to it.
Opening
You're
or
going to get,
closed?
yep. Again, eventually you're going to get to a place where you don't call it fear anymore. You just call it closing.
That's even
Because
better.
it's just guidance. That sensation that we call fear is just guidance. I just got a closing that's not going to work. So you can go to the opening. And instead of asking questions, what you do is you work with the thinking you have, because it's the thinking you have that's hurting you. It's the thinking you have that's creating your life. It's the think. So when a thought comes up, you manage it through, oh, I'm closed. Then you start looking for an opening, but to sit and come up with something that's artificial is the problem.
Right. Exactly.
Because you
This is
can't.
amazing, Zen, to have this experience with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Blessings.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for being so vulnerable. Thanks for bringing
Sure.
all this to the call. I really appreciate it.
I hope it helps someone else too. I'm sure
I'm
there's
sure.
a lot of people hiding out with cancer or illness and things that I know I haven't shared it with a lot of people, and that's been good and bad,
Yeah.
For as far as getting support, but I'm finally ready to reach out and get some support. So thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. I appreciate it. And good to hear your voice and be with you again.
I am going to sign up for your coaching when you send that out. At that price, I can't say no to that. And I think
Good.
this could be a phenomenal growth experience.
Good. Yeah. I'd love to have you. It's good. Have you done any of the programs? Did you do the 14-day experience or any of them? I highly recommend. I know you're going through financial challenge. And if you want to email me, I'll get you a discount coupon code to almost nothing to do it. Okay. Because that way we can work deeper.
Yeah, no, that's important. Yeah, send that to me.
I will. Email me. I know, but email me. Email me because I'm on my way to Seattle. As soon as I get off this call, I'm speaking at a leadership event. And
okay. So
yeah, I've got to run out the door.
Is the one that you send out the
That's fine. That's it. I'll get it. Yep.
Okay.
That's
you
the
got
one.
it.
Thanks, babe.
Well, have fun in Seattle.
I will. Thank you. It's going to be
All
fun.
Right. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. That's our call for today. If you want to learn how to do this, go to Fear Free Mind Experience. It's a 14-day experience. It's really beautiful. Totally affordable. It's at $197 is the price, and we're keeping it that. You get a month of coaching in that, and then you get qualified to do keep the monthly coaching for life for $27 a month. And I'm be doing 3 to 5 of these shows, and you'll be able to just keep working on it and getting your IGS into this beautiful place. We have a lot of other programs, but that's the program to drop into. That's the one you need really to be able to it's 14 days. It's super fast, super fun, simple. It's like 15 minutes a day, and it'll change your life. And you'll be using this, and you can already hear how it's different. If that's something that you're not ready to do yet, subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel, Fear Free Human. Subscribe and hit notifications so you can listen in on this. And then I have an email list where I send out little mini pods that are like less than 15 minutes. They come out every 3 days. If you go to fearfreehuman.com and join my mailing list, I send these pods out. People love them. They've got great ways of using the internal guidance system, different closing aspects, things that close you that you might not have ever thought of. It's like, wow, rushing. when I'm feeling late, it's actually, I'm not going to be late. I'm closed. What? I didn't know that. So how to deal with procrastination and all kinds of stuff is in there. I really would love for you to come and participate. You have this thing called an internal guidance system. You're not aware of how powerful it is and all the ways that you can use it and all the ways that it can clean up and make your life easy. So just keep coming back. You're going to be astonished at this thing that you have that you were born with that nobody ever shared with you. You're going to be blown away when you start hearing how all the ways that it clears up your life. And it's just incredible. I'm blown away that I even get to do this and that I got to decode it. I didn't create it. I just decoded it. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal aspect of us as human beings. And I can't tell you how incredible it is to use it and find out your purpose and why you matter and where you're supposed to contribute and what a difference you're here to make. So I'm just wanting you to know that I'm sending you love and blessings. I hope you have an amazing week. Sunday, 3:00. The Sunday is December 15th, 3:00. We've got another coaching call, and I'll be here live and sending you love and blessings. Go forth and have a